he's a cryback.
Why'd you have to H on Twitter? Seems kind of annoyed. Pulse was created so we won't be destroyed. Hex is a sleeper, I'm a believer. Packing devices in the warehouse, still staking Hex now. When will Hex go 10,000x? You guys think this chain is a mess? At least Richard is talking to me, but why does he have to be so mean? Cryfag, you playing too much.
There, Richard Harkins back, he tells Corey Costa that he's a cryback.
Why'd you have to do him like that?
Poor Corey Costa.
Why'd you have to come back? The chain needs you to stream. Maybe inject a little more of the sack. Cryfag, block after block.
Feel the weight of the market.
Tell poor Corey you didn't mean it. Sometimes I wonder,
Yeah, raw.
where would we be if we had listened to Eric?
Wall.
KDP left after losing her bed. Your friend Summy's praying for pegs, and you keep kicking him in the balls. Some people like the environment, keep dick riding. People laugh every day at the SEC's guidance. Corey's a meatball, he's right in the void. When he talks to Richard Hart, RH gets annoyed. Cryfag, you're playing too much.
There, Richard Harkins back, he tells Corey Costa that he's a cryback.
Why'd you have to do him like that?
Poor Corey Costa.
Why'd you have to come back? The chain needs you to stream. Maybe inject a little more of the sack. Cryfag, block after block.
Feel the weight of the market.
Tell poor Corey you didn't mean it.
Still waiting 2 more weeks. No one really knows. Come home, Richard. Let's get the money up. Please be nicer to Corey. He's doing his best.
What the hex is you guys talking about?
Good morning, you guys. When Bob's.
Stop cryfagging. Pulschain is tremendous. My son Baron has a hex staking ladder, and he'll probably be richer than me someday. So get out there and market Pulschain.
What the hex is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Money! You don't have to stay broke! Pulsechain is live! It's faster, it's cheaper, it's freedom on the blockchain!
Ma'am, you're causing a disturbance. I'm gonna ask you to wrap it up.
I'm just sharing information! People deserve to
Hands
know!
behind your...
With that being said, how about some positive news, guys?
Waiting.
Bro, we had the
Man, I tell you what, it's like 5 years of uptime, right?
Sentiment.
Think about it, 5 years of uptime.
My favorite thing in the mornings are coffee, sunshine, and Sami videos. Oh, and by the way, I'm human.
There's only one Tam, only one Tam.
What do you look for in a man?
It's important to me that he's a whole coiner.
Is stack size important to you?
I'm looking for at least 6.15.
Biggest turn-ons?
A hardware wallet in his sock drawer.
What makes you feel safe in a relationship?
When he holds his own keys and runs a node. That's like so hot.
Yeah. What's a red flag for you?
He holds XRP. Oh my God, worse than a red flag.
She's not asking for much.
Get ready to get rich, motherfucker!
Alright guys, I'm going to make this very, very simple for you. Okay? An idiot can understand this. Hopefully. Do you know who made the Phillips screwdriver? Do you care how much the person that designed the Phillips screwdriver makes? Are you asking about how much money he made? Is the tool useful? Do you hate the founder so much that you're going to run around life using a flathead screwdriver, trying to turn those screws, and then getting mad the whole time because you hate the guy that invented the Phillips head screwdriver?
Good afternoon. We were just in the neighborhood sharing a message of hope. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Richard Hart?
Richard who?
Richard Hart. He created Pulsechain, a new network meant to free us from centralized institutions and give people control of their own value.
Huh. Har. Heart, mate. Heart.
Hi. Can I come in? It's Richard Hart, rumored billionaire and bidet service technician. I'm here to install your bidet, sir. There we go. Look at that. Technology right there. It's gonna wash your butt, and your butt's gonna be clean. Let's get to work.
It's been 4 years. How much longer, bro? It's been 4 years, man. Like, we've defied everything. This is, you know, crypto year is 4 times a stock market year. So we've literally been holding 16 years.
Sup?
Hey, Toby. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
What's up, Fast? I got my sunglasses out for you especially. The problem is I've got readers, so I had to put my readers over the sunglasses, so I think that takes me, you know, as much as I was trying to kind of be a little cooler, it brings me back down a notch.
I see where you're going. You could always go with the bifocal sunglasses. I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
That's maybe bull market. I might have the money for that then, but you know, I'm waiting like everybody else. So super happy to have you on the show. I guess Papa and DJ
I'm
and
happy
the guys
to have
couldn't
you
make
on the
it.
show, Toby. It's
right?
It's
is
a
it
great
you
honor
running it
to have
today?
a true Hexkin to interview today. What
Yeah,
brings
all
you
right.
on the show?
Well, it's Thursday. Normally I do the what the hex thing with those guys, but Papa's so mean to me. You know, I thought maybe I'd branch out and just, you know, take the show on the road. Just do it myself. Take my TA, take my charts, bundle them up under my arm, and then, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, Peter's here too.
Oh,
What the
shit.
heck is this?
What the cry fag?
Stop with the cry fagging, will
I'm
you?
sorry. You didn't hear that, guys, did you?
I
You
didn't
hear
even
any of that?
start to cry fag.
Waka. Man.
Oh, man.
Let me
Yikes.
arrange the camera. So here we are. Welcome, you guys. What's up?
Hey.
Hey. Dude, I'm stoked to have Fast on. I had no idea. I swear to God, I had no idea he had not been on here before. And maybe I was commingling it with like panels we've done and stuff.
Yeah,
in the
you,
past.
you mixed it up with the. With
I thought
the
for sure he had
RH
been
thing.
on. And then
We've done
it's
two,
4
we've
a.m.
done
I
twice.
mean, can I just like apologize, I guess, or like take ownership? It's like 4 a.m. I'd been up until 3:30 a.m. playing a video game with Papa, so I blame him partially. And I'm bleary-eyed. I'm in bed. I'm on Twitter. I see Fast make this great post about, hey, these are all people worth paying attention to. Boom, boom, boom. Shows all these links. And then I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I see DJ
Where am I?
Cryptomatic
Where's
there.
me? Yeah.
And I don't see what the hex, and I don't see the rest of us. What the fuck? And I wasn't mad, but I was just like, come on. So it's kind of, and years ago, I think he had actually posted something else. And as a joke, I posted the Rodney Dangerfield, like, I can't get no respect thing, because it's like I wasn't on the list. So I thought, well, maybe it's just an oversight, whatever. So in my own way, I mentioned it and then was kind of being a little passive aggressive and reposted it. Like, should you guys tell him or should I? Like, we're not on the list. And then I think Fast was the first one to it, as his name is indicative of. He's very quick-witted. And he's
fast.
like, it's on the list, you stupid old fuck. in a much kinder way.
Buttons. You scroll down just like you're turning the pages on a book, except for up and down instead of sideways. It's just there's a learning curve on this technology for old people. I understand.
It was the way
And in no particular order, which
Chef's
means you
kiss.
can consider yourself first on the list.
Yeah, there you go. He nailed it. He had nailed it, and we were on the list, so we had been paid the proper respect. But it did precipitate this conversation of him never having been on the show. So I'm like, well, dude, come on, let's make this happen.
Can I explain something to Fast Abdoul directly? Fast Abdoul, you were spared coming on our silly show. So every moment you spent away was a gift. You should have fucking enjoyed that. Now you're here. You're screwed. Welcome to the show.
Yikes.
Well, I've seen your show like years ago when you guys were like Hex Maxis, nothing else is good. You know, like it's.
Wait a minute. Some of us still are.
Oh, okay. Well, I can see where this is going then. But regardless, I'm here now. I'm taking over. What should we talk about, boys?
Abdoul needs to go to jail for a moment.
Papa needs to go to jail?
No, Abdoul. That's some heresy he's spitting.
Heresy.
Oh, got it. Yeah, so what's like, obviously, you know, top of the show, the Joshua Wu song had me. That's great, dude. I was on a space yesterday with Josh, and they mentioned it. I'm like, what? I'm like, what song? What are you talking about? And he's like, dude, you got to watch the song. He was like, it's all AI. He goes, but they kind of nailed it, and it's so funny. And then I was so pleased to see Corey.
I thought it would be terrible, you know, just like a smear job, but it's like actually like, okay, this actually has a lot of good content, and the rhythm is good, and the words are good. Josh is actually good at that. I think it came from the right place too. I don't think he's trying to rub it in on Corey. I think he's making light of it. Making it funny, which is one of his skills, a rare skill. So yeah, cheers to Joshua and to Corey Costa for being the catalyst for our current revolution.
Yeah, and also for playing along with it, right?
And taking it well.
You don't get flowers for cry fagging and then getting called out as a cry fag. You're a cry fag.
No, but
I give flowers. I give flowers
still showing up for work.
Yeah, but I give flowers to Richard Hart for showing up to work and having that entire day basically of answering all the bullshit freaking questions and theories and shit directly to him, and then him saying, yes, no, you're full of shit, you're cry fagging, all this other. He was just knocking him out and interacting with the community.
10, 12 hours of doing that.
That's great. That's fucking great. Did you see Corey's like tirade that he printed out to Richard?
It was pretty long.
Yeah, but Richard obviously read it, absorbed it, and that was his output, which is exactly the way things like this should be dealt with. I've been holding back all these things. I'm your girlfriend, and I'm just going to take all of my frustration and just pack it away for later and then explode like a volcano when I see you again. And that's what happened, and that's what you get. So he is a cry fag from now on. I think it's a beautiful, badge of honor he can wear.
Badge of honor.
As he comes back into the fold and becomes positive about, this particular community again.
And I think we will see that from Corey, because he has been a force for good in the past. And I think it should be noted that Richard answered more than one of Corey's questions that day. No, obviously nobody's focusing on the other questions, the interactions he had with Richard directly, but he was amongst the favored few who actually got their questions answered more than once. So there's clearly some sort of relationship there. Love, hate, love, cry, fag, however you want to describe it.
But to Richard's point, though, Corey is someone with a big following, big influence in the space, networking with other blockchains, etc. Has viewers on YouTube, and Rich is just, we say it's trolling, but there's also a bit of truth to it because he doesn't want the negativity. Like, he doesn't want people with a following and influence to shit on the ecosystem. And Corey, we've seen him time and time do that.
Differently to accomplish the same goal, personally. The same. There's probably better ways,
Yeah, but that's why the stop cry fagging is now like a theme a little bit. And then Richard said it has a ring to it.
It is funny. And he picked the right guy because Corey picked up the ball and kept carrying it.
Yeah.
If he'd had that same conversation with a different influencer,
someone else, it would have
had a different reaction.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could have not been good.
It was probably calculated.
Probably it was. Yeah. Corey is a known quantity. The reaction was probably measured. I hope I hope Richard knew what would happen, and then the thing he wanted to happen happened.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there could have been some wrong choices for that same comment.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he chose the word that has a C in it. It begins with a C because it fits perfectly as cry-fagging Corey Costa's crypto coins is the perfect rebranding for his show. He can come back, and he got another C on the front. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
it worked. That
Now,
worked out.
and I have insider evidence that Corey actually checked to see if that was a viable option. There's like, you can see Corey talking to Grok on Twitter about, can I change the name of my Twitter profile to this? And Grok told him that he might get banned if he does that.
Because of the word fag, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he looked into it. You know?
Yeah, true. I mean, there's a way to obscure that. If we could campaign for next year for it to be actually added to the Webster's dictionary, which I think is a great idea, then he could. It wouldn't be in the filter at all.
Now, this might not apply, but this is a true story. Before Elon Musk bought it, I had used the word not in a derogatory fashion, in a jokey fashion, like you would say amongst bros, the word faggot. And I was temporarily banned from Twitter. So I got the little email and the whole deal, and I appealed it. And I said, no. I said, this is just a joke amongst friends. I was talking about a bundle of sticks, and I sent them a picture.
A faggot of wood, yeah.
A faggot of wood is a bundle of sticks, and no shit, it worked, and they unblocked me.
Well, you could say you were talking about British cuisine, and you were talking about faggots and peas.
Right, or having a fag, smoking cigarettes. I mean, there's different.
I remember when a fag was a cigarette. Like, that used to be a thing. Being a fag.
Yeah,
and people think that the mafia term, like half a fag, they think that that's you're gay, but it's not. It's half of a cigarette that's been finished already. It's like you want to discard it. So there you go, half a fag.
I mean, there's certainly. I mean, just to diminish it, there are derogatory uses of any number of these types of words. However, in this context, it's obviously meant in jest and with fun. And, Bill Burr talks about, the use of that word amongst his friends. And it's like, it's not about homophobia. It's like, it's your buddy. It's like, you're calling, quit being a sissy, it's like, what the fuck? And that's kind of the vibe I felt between Richard and Corey on that. It was almost like a big brother, like punching in the arm and like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like Corey took it as intended. And I love that he rolled with, I mean, he got a little triggered on the first one and was criticizing Richard's deadlift style, which I thought was like, come on, Corey, you can do better than that. And then pretty quickly he got in line with like, I think the intent of it. And it's like, and then boom, he's in the gym frickin' pressing 115-pound dumbbells. It's like he used it as motivation. And that's when, even if it's something harsh, is proven to be a good motivator. And I think it got Corey back on the right track. I mean, Corey's still going to be a smart kid that's going to question things. I think, and he would admit that his emotions have gotten the best of him during this cycle, and that's why he's kind of been tagged as such.
Yeah. Can we move on from the Corey and go general again?
Can we agree that bullying always worked?
It does.
No.
It does. Now shut up.
Amongst just men, in the right scenario where the alpha is bullying with good intent, sometimes it does. Though what I don't like to see is the lesser bullies jumping on after the fact, right? Like, like if your boss tells you, what the fuck, man, you're being a tool, then that's fine. It sets you back in line, right? Like amongst men. But when, your coworkers start calling you tool all day long, that's bullying. And that's like, that's the sign of like a lower level.
Oh,
I agree.
Oh.
I agree.
All right, moving on. In summation, though, wouldn't you say that clearing of the air with Richard coming out and doing this whole blast and answering thing, come at me, bros, and I will address all of your silliness, and everyone had a chance to get out all their theories, their jabs, their questions, their demands, well, except for Peter. Peter was sleeping. But everyone else got a chance to say, hey, the rumor has it that you were supposed to do this. And Richard was able to say, no, you're full of shit. I never said that. I never will do that. Or I love the comments where he says, I know I heard you 45,000 times. I've heard it from other people. Don't think that I don't know this shit. Next question. You know what I mean? And don't come at me with any questions about anything that begins with inter or ends with pol, assholes. And I think that was great. It's great that he cleared the air. Do you feel a new connection? Do you feel a new connection with our
air and set limits? Like he doesn't want to answer questions about Interpol is clearly what he was saying, right?
Yeah.
So those questions aren't unreasonable. It's not unreasonable for me to ask him a question about Interpol. He's just saying like no comment on this topic, for the press, right?
It's an ongoing case. That's all it should be considered. Just like the SEC, right? But don't you think that it is somewhat noteworthy that he should come out and have this type of, communication with everybody after a long silence? And it corresponds almost, a week goes by since the Interpol site has been updated. Like there's been some movement, some shift in the drawers, so to speak.
It was updated to date as well, boys. The date for last processed is now changed to 10/25, 10/15. So Europe time, I assume.
Yes.
So
bullish.
There's definitely something going on there.
That's really great news.
Yeah, I think that, just for him as a human being, it's like I couldn't imagine being under that kind of pressure and stress that would entail. So, I'm certain all along and still am that that's being worked on behind the scenes. And, if I was him, I wouldn't want to talk about it either. And quite frankly, much like the SEC stuff, it's like he was probably being told by counsel, don't fucking talk about it. Like, let us do our job. Don't add to the problem.
Has something changed is the question though, right? So like he did like a pretty much like a live AMA on Twitter, right? It wouldn't have been any different if he had been on screen, reading comments, ignoring some, answering others, like as far as what exposure he had, right? Like he was definitively like Richard doesn't interact with people on Twitter. He was definitively interacting with people on Twitter. So like what has changed? Is there and it did correspond with those updates on the Interpol thing. So has something happened that he knows about that we don't, where lawyers said like, okay, now you can go this far. And
that could be.
I don't see a difference between that and streaming at all. Like
that's a conspiracy out there that the $25 million actually that we've seen go through the mixers a week ago could be for some sort of settlement with Finland or whatever, or could simply be to purchase more tablets with fridge magnets for the next batch to be sent out. We simply don't know.
It's not tablets with fridge magnets. It's too much money, right? Like those things don't cost $15 each when you buy 1 million at a time, right? Like they cost like $1 each, maybe $2.
$1.90 on Temu. So
60 cents.
60 cents. How many did you buy to get them for $1.90? Right? What if you multiply that by 1 million?
Absolutely.
You had to buy 3 to even get the the order out. So
it's more for postage. That's the value is the postage, the packing, and the product together are probably over $1, and that's a lot. That's a lot for all these mailings.
Yeah,
DJ,
and over $1, but I bet you it's under $2.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
So, but like $2 is still to hit random strangers for no reason is a significant amount of money. So, I would, and I have no knowledge of it, but I would wonder if there wasn't a way to target people more directly, because like the math on that, if you hit the right people, could be actually fantastic. It's an excellent form of advertising, like sending a gift in the mail. Very likely to have a lot of stickiness to it, especially if that gift actually sticks to your refrigerator, which I've heard is going to be a thing. You multiply that number up to, I think there's going to be 10 million of those things going out. And if 10 million go out and they're going to the right people, be that people who are targeted somehow, or be that people that live in specific neighborhoods where there's the right demographics, the math could actually be really, really good. And I think just the tip of the iceberg is what we're seeing right now. Like I don't think, like Richard's commented that there's 700,000 coming, but 700,000 have not gone out, right? Like this is just the start of this marketing campaign, and there will probably be changes, there'll be updates. He's going to learn things, he's going to implement what he learns. Like this could really be fire, in my opinion.
Absolutely. But there were also a lot of nuggets in the comments for us, like if you really pick them apart, and also confirming, to me at least, a bunch of things that give me the sentiment again, or the sense that Richard is still Richard and nothing has changed. Like, he still is about the core coins, not any altcoins. You know, he's about PHEX because he made the explanation that, you know, when people buy HEX on Pulsechain, they need to go through PLS and PLSX first. Whether you do that on Ethereum, you're enriching Ethereans basically, and we want to keep the funds within our own ecosystem. So he doubled down on that, and there's a bunch of stuff that doubled down on PDI.
Well, but he did it different. If I can interject real quick before you go to the PDI thing, he did it very carefully too. If you notice, it's like, because
he didn't shit on it.
He didn't shit on EHEX. It's like, but he gave the reasons why PHEX would make more sense for people if they were coming in. Yeah, which is totally fine. I completely agree with. And there's going to be people, as there were the first time around, that are going to try to manipulate that and, you know, try to work that arb trade back and forth, which is just inherent. So it's like, I felt like he was very deft in the way that he handled that question and gave the obvious answer. Like, yeah, it's like, of course, what gas coin do I want you to buy? Ethereum or Pulse?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a lot of logic there. With the PDI bros, he was extremely direct. Of course, they're still trying to weave it into a fairy tale, but like, you know, I believe the term "you fucking dumbass" was used.
Dumb shit was the quote, yeah.
And it's absolute garbage. It's trash. He also explained with the Vietnamese exploiter, that's only like tip of the iceberg. He also mentioned that other people have minted a bunch of PDI 2 years ago already before the minting. So he put a bit of clarity towards that. So, you know, the funny thing is with our show here is that so many things, I'm very glad after reading through these comments that many things we said on here and the guests we had on and the things we tweeted about are still valid and are in line with the Richard Hart ideals when it comes to all of this. And this also really with the cryf, because we want to be marketing. That's all we're about. It's not about like especially me, like I guess can only talk for myself. This DJ Cryptomatic character, that's not my real me. Like, I'm a different person in real life. It has been created and it has this following only to promote HEX and Pulsechain and the Richard Hart ideals of going about things. Not all of them, but many of them. And that's all what this is for. And with this cryfagging, he really is serious about that we, when you're given a platform in this community, and because of the Hexicans, you have a certain following now on social media, you kind of have to treat that with respect. And you know, I worked at Disneyland, for example, in the 90s. I was really inside.
You're one of those the dancers I've seen.
No, yeah, he was on Der Matterhorn.
and when you start at Disneyland, so this is like from real life experience, they totally brainwash you. So, you know, there's all these conspiracies about people getting brainwashed in Disney, and it is true, but I always felt in a good sense, to the extent that before you actually are allowed at your position in the park, they run you through a 3-day, that's what they call Disney University at the time. So for 3 days, they tell you, they have these professional speakers and trainers in front of you. And no matter who it is, if you're a bellhop in a hotel, if you're selling ice cream, everybody has to go through that. And by the end of the 3 days, you are able to name the 7 dwarves in 4 different languages and all of this stuff. But they also convey to you the message that the visitor, the guest, the customer is the most important thing at the park. And people save up, you know, especially when they're coming from abroad, thousands of dollars to have their 2-day vacation at the Disneyland park, and they just don't want a bad experience. So whatever happens, it's most important that the guest and the customer has a good experience. And I kind of, all my life since then, I kind of live by this principle, and I apply this to here. This is Richard's ecosystem is like the Magic Kingdom as an analysis. And you would not in Disneyland see someone that's working in a shop and a customer walks in and then tells that person, oh yeah, thanks for coming to Disneyland, but it's really a shit show here, right? The rides don't work and the leaves are, everything is broken. You might want to check the Warner Brothers park that's down the street. That would never happen, but it seems to be perfectly okay for influencers in our space on X to like voice their disagreement. That's not good. That's not good marketing, Like we should kind of find a way to, as you said earlier, yes, mention the things that need improvement, but there is a way to go about it. And Richard, I guess, would be open to discussions, but this outright shitting on everything and shitting on him, that's not helping with the marketing. And many of the replies
the main difference is you are getting paid to work at Disney. Right? Like, I'm not getting, you guys aren't paying me. Nobody's paid my retainer to show up in the show. Richard's never paid me. He's never paid any of you.
Not necessarily, but we are invested. So there is a connection. If this works for us, then our investments are also performing, right?
I'm with you, but like the cyberpunk nature of Hex and Richard Hart, like, does mean like we can do whatever we want. He can do whatever he wants too, right? So like, and that's, if anything, it should make people trust the ones who speak about it more because they know they're not getting paid, right? They might be like, they might have bag bias, which is fine. But that's a huge difference between like us talking about Hex, Pulsechain, etc., and this some guy who got paid $2,000 talking about it, a pump and dump on Solana, right? Like, like there's a huge difference in trust factor, and that's why we have a community that is constant and continuous. It has its cranks, it has its loudmouths, it has the people that come and go. They're happy, they're sad, but it's like it feels like a community and not like just a giant shill where you're either a victim or or a winner.
But I think RH Max started the conversation once on his Twitter about what good does it actually do. The comments are driving me crazy here. DJ Geppetto at Disneyland. What good does it what good does it do when you're negative about what we're trying to build and what we're all trying to market here? What does it help? I think it's not helping. Richard says it's not helping.
No, it definitely does not help. But it's like, it's not unexpected that some people have just, wear their emotions on their wrist, right? Like, that's like human nature in a free system. You're going to see that. Like, I think it elevates the people who don't fall into that of being like, okay, this guy's able to toe the line on a bad day, on a good day. Like, you guys, I've seen you guys stream on really bad days, right? You've probably seen me stream on pretty bad days. And, but we definitely had way more streamers on good days. Right.
Oh yeah.
So like some people can toe the line, some people can't toe the line. I think it's a measure of those people, but I wouldn't necessarily disparage the people who can't toe the line. It's like, yeah, they're just people.
Right. Well, and I think that's, I'm a token that will not be named, but it was early on. I know that there were people like that got the free whatever, and I think they went over to Polygon or something. DJ knows exactly what I'm talking about. And you got, the rest of you probably do too, but it starts with an A. But anyhow, if you ever watched any of their streams, it was so terribly off-putting because it was so much of what Fast was just saying. Like it was so monotone. One line, it was like it was scripted, and it felt very like bad televangelists. It's like the way that they do it, and it just felt like there was no.
No soul.
No skeleton in the closets. There was nothing, no dust in the corners. It was so squeaky clean and perfect. And how could it ever fail? And, and we know how that worked out. So I think it's kind of like, this space. And Richard comes from this, right? Before we ever came along, he came from the crucible of crypto. And he was tested in those fires. And he was the guy standing up yelling at Craig Wright. So it's like the dude can take it. But at the same time, I can see at times he would be annoyed by it. And as a rule, as DJ and Fast just said, it's probably not moving the ball forward, but you know, it's kind of par for the course, and it does lend some credibility to the community being real fucking people that and some that have legitimate concerns and questions that need to be answered. And you know, and you're going to have that spectrum. You know, you're going to have the cryfags, and you're going to have the guys that are just like super maxi, you know, kind of almost to a bullshit degree.
But
and
he's
then
like
marketing.
marketing. He even disagrees with green candles, like finally, will you pump the chain? So
I like this about Richard.
Yeah, is not the best marketing.
He talks about something, but then 2 years after, his view is the opposite. He tells Corey to stop cryfagging, but then he tweets at CZ Binance.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
Why
I'm not getting support? Yeah.
Well, and he's human as well. You know, I mean, I think that I mean, for me at least, I can't speak for anyone else, but I think that's what I find more compelling, because even when he was pressed on questions about, you know, the biggest airdrop in history, I mean, in no uncertain terms, he was saying, yeah, that was a failed idea. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it seemed good. You know, everything pointed to that being a good way to get people to pay attention, but in practice, you know, not great. You know, so so he's pivoted many times. I mean, you got to realize he started out with Bitcoin. When he realized that was not the way, he pivoted to Ethereum. When he figured out that was not the way, he made Hex. When he realized that Hex on Ethereum wasn't the way, he made Pulsechain. So all this, you know, dynamism, is that a word? The way that he can be dynamic and shift and you know, change his worldview in real time, it rattles some people, but I find it promising, because it makes me feel like the guy's going to do what works, and he's going to keep trying until he finds what
he keeps trying. Works. And he was very engaged. You know, he also responded to allegations of people saying, oh, he's suppressing the price, where he said, no, why would you do that?
That makes no sense.
Lose money on suppressing price. And the P copies that, you know, he was referring back to the Pepe situation where the community just came in and dumped on our heads. So that's not a way.
DJ, about the point you just made, don't mean to cut you off. I'm just saying that he did address how he would measure 10,000x, and it was from the low lows.
Well, of course, yeah.
So with the suppression thing in one hand and the counting of the 10,000, next 10,000x in the other, almost in the same breath, to Peter's point, the change of worldview is almost quicker than it used to be with Richard. It's like, oh, you got a point there, but then I do this, but then I do that. And then he is a human, but he's dancing. He's dancing like a pro, and he's a hell of a leader to be able to bear himself like that in text that can be quoted later. Exactly what his stream of consciousness is right there for all to see. It was a delicious type of examination.
I don't know if it's stream of conscious though. It's like I have the feeling, and I don't know the guy as well as you guys do, but like I have the feeling we are thinking by and large what he wants us to see and think.
Of course, of course. None of this is
more calculation. All of this, right?
Financial.
Calculated.
This is the game of Hex, man.
It is. The game of Kings, the game of Hex, indeed. I asked him if he'd ever watched Game of Thrones, but he didn't respond to me.
Yeah, I asked about limit orders, but then I went ahead and answered my own question.
You asked for Peter, right? But
Thank you, Toby.
The simple-sided staking was answered that he doesn't like that. So he put a cap on a lot of things that were out in the open, where people would think, what might Richard think about it? So I think there is a bunch. If you go through the replies on his X, there is a bunch of nuggets in the whole thing. But again, for me, no surprises there. Like, that's Richard, that's old black T-shirt Richard. Same principles, same marketing ideas, same thing I've always seen. So I don't know why everybody is constantly losing the plot. And someone says, for the love of God, stop judging others. No, we judge others on this show. That's what this show is all about.
That's what makes it entertaining.
It's a community show about and for and by the community.
We're trying to understand others.
Trying to understand, exactly.
Even in the Bible.
Retards, for retards.
Wait,
stop crying.
DJ, even in the Bible, right? the Old Testament anyway, human nature is when the cat's away, the mice will play, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, hey, we
Yeah.
got this void. We're not getting constant, reminder of what we should be focused on. Let's veer off of the norm and start interpreting things in all sorts of different ways. Let's find our golden calf and start, praying to that instead. It's like,
And
I was
felt that
gone
was a
for like
surprise to
15
Richard. He
minutes
knew
and
that
now
would
you're
happen.
like doing the wrong thing. What the fuck,
I said a while ago, like one of the things I was looking forward to most when he came back is that, the moment where it's like dad's coming home and he's taking off his belt. Because it's like I knew that it's like he's got to be just like holding his tongue, whether it's the poll thing or the SEC thing prior to that, or just not wanting to engage with it. But it's like you could feel it cooking, right? He was just ready to come in and smack everybody in the back of the head, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And it's like, and it's his way. And you got to remember too, I heard a lot of people, yesterday, Tam had a really good space, or day before yesterday, had a really good space. And you hear a lot of people talking about Black T-shirt Richard. Is there a Black Richard? Is there a Black Richard?
Black Richard.
I
mean,
think
he
there
is
are
blackish.
A lot of Black Richards.
He's got the lingo.
sense,
but
yes.
but they were saying that was the original Richard, and I'm like, damn, I wish I could have been on that thing, because I could say no, that's not, because that's not who I found. Like the guy that I found was Top Hat Richard, right? And
Top
it's like,
Hat
and he
Richard, yeah.
and he was very humble, and he was, and it was when he was being emotional about Bitcoin. And, people were like, oh, he's crying because he lost his bags. No, he was emotional because he had believed in something so much that you could, in my interpretation, he was so heartbroken that they would not take his advice and they weren't going in the right direction. And he had put so much into the belief in it as a cypherpunk that Bitcoin was the answer, and then it wasn't. And it was crushing to him. And that's the way I took that. And I saw that emotionality and that sensitivity. And so he went from humble Richard until, like many humble people, like many meek people, they're pushed around and ignored, and they aren't moving the ball as far forward as they think they can, being gentle. And then he became Black T-shirt Richard. And it was like, bring your heroes here to die. And he was like, okay, fuck all that. I spent time and I listened and I learned. Now I'm coming for your heads. And he did that. And then, of course, we know the arc continues. He tried the outrage marketing. And to your point earlier, DJ, about it, is there any value in this? Maybe a little, with people kvetching about it and, cry-fagging, because then people talk about it. And they're like, well, what are you talking about? Well, there is some conversion rate there of some people that maybe the first time they ever hear about it is because somebody was cry-fagging about it, right? And then they're like, well, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah,
and
but
then they dig a
people
little
from
deeper.
the outside looking in, it's not a good look, especially now when we're sending out the tablets,
Yeah, the majority of
together.
people are going to, the majority, well, just like outrage marketing, in hindsight, maybe wasn't the best way to go, because now you're having to endure the fallout from that.
But also someone asked him, did you buy a new watch recently? And his reply was like, fuck watches. So
Fuck
that's
watches.
another strong statement
Finnish government likes watches. Yeah,
on that whole
by the
thing.
way.
But Fast had a point.
Yes.
We've seen Richard pivot on things, right? So the things that we're talking about that he said in that chat a couple days ago, it doesn't mean that will be his permanent stance. So he might have said like, oh yeah, single-sided staking for Pulsex or Inc or what have you. He said, oh, the money's got to come from somewhere. It's not a good thing. I still think we could be surprised with that. He could still pivot. Like it could be a surprise, right? And surprises are a big part of what of success in crypto, right? Of people, creating FOMO. So like some of those things he said, I think are definitively, yeah, that's what he believes, and he will not move from that position. But some of them I think he will bend on or break completely and surprise us. Like look at, like Richard wasn't big on trading, wasn't big on meme coins, so on and so forth. Like a entity loosely attached to him launched pumped out tires. I'm not saying he did it, right? But like he talked about it, it seems.
Yeah, but he also
explained
explained why with the celebrity thing, that he wants to capture that possibility of a Snoop Dogg coin one day maybe launching on Pulsechain and have the
so things he's spoken out against in the past, he's willing to
he
push
still
to the
doesn't like
front
memes
for
though.
a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like so what's next? Richard Hart perp decks? Maybe a casino app of some type?
Wallet.
Wallet.
Richard was tweeting he's working a lot.
Yeah,
so,
a lot.
Maybe a wallet.
He's too busy to stream.
And to like what Fast just said, it's like he did say in a recent tweet about, you know, having some ideas that he couldn't quite share because competitors and others are also listening. So, you know, that is, you know, right in line with what you're saying. It's like, you know, is he going to tell you everything that he's thinking and doing as he's doing it? Fuck no. And, you know, he's going to get, and I felt it was hyper rational, like the whole thing. And, you know, and one of the things I like most, because I'm gay, is that he actually had tweeted something kind to all of us. And now I can't find it. Here it is. It's, and no, it's not a clip. It's just, and I shared this in the,
yours is a clip. From
mine's
now
a
on,
clip.
we're going to use that in the intro every time.
Yeah, whatever. With this mustache, you need, you know,
because
no closet can hold me. Whatever. But he says, and now of course it's bookended with some, you know, typical Richard stuff. But it's like, sorry to the so many of you that are just awesome, but the quite a few that suck need educated occasionally. Occasionally, I prefer they go away than continue to hear their shrill whines. Every stupid comment in my threads could have been useful outreach somewhere else. To those of you that are kicking ass, thanks for kicking ass. So he did.
You're welcome.
You know, he gave a little, you know, nod to whoever that may be that he feels is out there kicking ass. I think, you know, everybody here could say, you know, we're kicking a little ass by, you know, carrying the torch and doing what we've done. And, you know, not to break our arms, patting ourselves on the back. But it's like, I think Fast Abdoul has been a huge inspiration to me personally, watching his evolution. I've seen so many people come into the space and you know and watch their arc, and to see the outreach that he's made, you know, to other chains. The thing that he put together with Crypto Empress, I thought was fantastic. I was honored to be involved with that.
I was happy with that one.
Yeah, the connections he made with Kim Tran recently. I think, you know, she's got a lot of promise, and I really enjoyed the content that I've seen out there with her. And she's learning on the fly, which is also, to me, an example of how real a community is. And that vulnerability of her, you know, sussing out what's right, talking to guys like Papa, talking to guys like Fast, you know, opening the discussion up to the community of like, how do I do this shit? Because it's like, you know, yeah, I worked at Apple, but that doesn't mean I'm like an IT genius or something. So help me, like, and then for her to suss out what's the best of it, I think is a good example for people coming into the space. And then, you know,
what do you guys think of her? Do you think that was a win to get Kim on
I think
board?
so. I mean, I'm a fan. I mean, especially, I don't know if you listen to the what Papa, you were on it, right? The thing with Tam 2 days ago. Yeah. So I listened.
You don't remember me flapping my gums for 30 minutes?
Well, no. I listened to it like middle out, and then I started from the beginning again, and then I got confused.
Dropping
and I was
the alpha on there.
But it's like, I thought that was really good. I feel like she responded well. You know, and I feel like I think it was a pivotal moment for you as a human being too, Papa, that you could admit that you're abrasive. And it's like,
I've never apologized for my abrasiveness.
And it's like, and it's like, I did a meme once. It didn't catch on, but it was like a Brillo pad with Papa's face on it. And then, you know, nobody got it.
It's a feature, not a bug.
It's a feature, not a bug. But it's like, but I feel like the whole, but
because
to answer Fast's question,
because you didn't listen.
I listened. I thought it was great.
Because you didn't listen carefully.
You're the wolf. You're the wolf.
Yeah,
I listened to
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
So I don't make any apologies, because the key of the wolf's attitude is not that he's not a guy that comes in as an authoritarian and says this, but he deals with another person that like whispers under his breath, a please would be nice. Right. And then he stops like, excuse me, I'm here to save you. Okay. And I'm sorry if I've got a different type of way of telling you, but if it really helps, please, with a cherry on top, with sugar and cream, whatever the fuck you want. Now, can you get to fucking work? You know?
Right. Well, and I mean, that's very much like Richard's attitude a lot of times, you know, where it's like, I don't have time for the niceties. You should assume that is implicit, you know? Yeah. So it's like, I think it's the same kind of thing with Papa. But to answer a fast question, listening to that stream, to me, it was like, dude, she's on it. It's like, I feel like she really has some promise as an influencer in crypto to bring some people into the fold and to teach them properly. And, you know, and I would encourage, you know, all of us and others out there to take her under your wing and like try to help her along. Because it's a win for everybody. You know, if she learns the right way and then her followers learn the right way, then we've just expanded our army of Hexagon philosophers out there in the world of how to do it right, you know?
Yeah. And by the way, have you noticed there's
a super chat from Duke of Booze.
What the hell? You're not supposed to be
Thank
giving
you
us
for
any
the
money.
555. Kick ass and stop cry fagging. Thank you.
Did you say 555?
Yes.
Okay, very good. You know, but back to
I love how
Kim
Kim
Tran.
Tran always says thank you. She's like, thank you. Is that like some hillbilly like, yoo let's go?
Hold on a second. There's a distinct difference, just to put a cap on this whole Kim Tran thing.
Yes.
There's a distinct difference between someone who genuinely listens and is learning, like Kim Tran, and there's another kind of, I would categorize him as, back in the early days when we had the Telegram chat, Toby, you may have remembered this. It seemed like there were these time waster trolls, is what I would call them. They would come into the chat and they would say, okay, so what's this staking thing? Can you explain this to me? And they ask inane questions that brings it all the way back to, I'm not really believing this at the end. And it takes hours. And people are just saying, this is what a stake is. This is why it's important. This is a direct relationship with the code. What are you fucking not understanding? Okay, thank you for educating me. And they come back the next day and start all over again with a new bunch of people in the chat. And I was convinced that these people were either paid to like counter shill or to try to get people to get good sound bites, or to confuse people or disinterest people, but bore people from being in the chat. I don't see that in Kim. I think it's great. She's genuine. There is somebody that comes into these fucking spaces with Tam Tam, and he's notable because he always says all that jazz. He's an Australian guy. He comes in and he's one of these time waste. Yeah, he's one of these time wasters, right? Am I right, Fast Abdoul? You understand, right, what I'm talking about?
But
this guy,
sometimes it's good, but like it's repetitive, right? So like he'll ask for example, like, okay, please give me your elevator pitch on Hex, right?
That's it.
And then he'll ask it again the next show, right? And it's like
correct. Time waster
he's
troll.
Taking up a lot of time.
So the next time that guy shows up, and he will, by the way, because he's glommed on to the only value in this entire ecosystem are the meme coins and and pump tires. So he's now trying to get traction there. But that type of person, if he shows up again and says, I'm taking notes here, I'm really taking notes. What's your elevator pitch? And people are saying this over and over and over again. And then the next day he'll come back and he'll say, give me your elevator pitch. Next time that happens, Fast, back me up and please say, you know what? We've done this a few times now and you've been here. What's your elevator pitch?
Deal. Tam Tam is a very nice person, probably much nicer than any of us. So she's probably a little soft on that kind of stuff. Sometimes she makes me a co-host if whoever's schedule doesn't show up, and I'm less soft.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, it's important to keep the reins, tight on that stuff, because it's like that's where I first. I mean, the back in the Telegram voice chats is where I first learned what a concern troll even was. Because it's like I knew what a troll was, and then it's like the concern trolling thing, and then the soft shell guys too, which would come in and they were basically just making inroads, but they had their own thing.
Half
And,
of those
it was
guys
just
in
because they
there are
wanted a
soft
name.
show guys sometimes too. I've seen a lot of that in that space,
Yeah.
and it's like if they're good, it's pretty hard to tell.
Right.
It's very difficult in a public space like that where you want people to come up and ask questions to actually control it, right? Like here we have a curated stream. I've handpicked each of you to stream with today.
Thank you, sir.
And so it's like, what's going to happen, right?
Right.
We also have
Right.
about 800 people watching live right now, which is pretty
Sweet.
incredible. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Follow everybody, smash the likes and all that jazz. We're almost an hour in already, all that jazz.
You said all that jazz?
May have been me.
Yeah, I did.
Let's give Fast Abdoul his flowers, which was actually the whole purpose of the show today. And we
To pop his cherry, get him in here.
We
with the
jumped
old
right
curmudgeon
into the
Gen
whole
Xers.
Richard Hart and Kim thing. So Fast Abdoul, what's up with you? Your projects too. You're the founder of Camel Coin, right? Is that still a thing?
That's my main thing that
It's
I worked
your
on
main
with
thing,
Camel
which
Coin.
may or may not have been the reason why we didn't ask you to stream with us last year. I'm just putting that out there.
Camel Coin was just a test token because the 2FUX protocol, which is a fork of Convex/Aura Finance from Ethereum, had an option we could build onto it to give away additional coins to liquidity providers for free. So Camel coin was my test coin. It was only ever given away for free, which apparently is not great for the chart. But yeah, it was available for free for people.
Down and to the right.
Live and learn. Yeah.
Down and to the right on that one. Yeah.
No, but
like,
your main platform
is for free. That's
the TwoFax and the ink printer, right? These are your two main
those are my two main ones. Yeah.
Is there anything new coming up with that, or are you working on new projects? What is the roadmap besides all this streaming that you do, which is absolutely incredible? I mean, since the last couple of weeks, I see you every day on with somebody, so you're really putting in that work. And that's the second question: what keeps you engaged? What keeps you so involved with the community at the moment? What do you see here?
Fair enough. Well, I'll start with the questions of future for things I'm working on. So everything that I've worked on in the past, I'm still working on. So there's improvements coming for 2PH UX, and there's improvements coming for ink printer. So I've those are two different dev teams. I'm working on two different things there. Like for ink printer, I've made some announcements. There's I'm gonna have a new farming ecosystem built around ink printer, which is a liquidity fork, a stable coin that uses Richard Hart's ink token for collateral. So, I'm trying to solve some, not problems, like everything's safe, everything's fine, but just the nature of liquidity forks, how they work. I'm trying to make it work better. So I'm going to have some add-ons, right? Add-ons to immutable code. So separate things built on top to work separately, but together, right? With that. Same thing with TwoFax. We're going to have our bribery front end is now open. It's sort of in beta right now, but we're going to make some changes there. We're going to be pushing that, and we're working on some additional things that I cannot discuss at the moment for that ecosystem to kind of give it a little kick in the pants. These are it's not meme coins. It's heavy lifting, and everything requires audits all the time. Everything requires oversight all the time. You're dealing with the amount of money that's passed through the 2PHUX ecosystem is very large, right? Which always makes me laugh when people call me a scammer for whatever their own reason is. It's like, dudes, if I was a scammer, you'd be screwed, right? Like, I could have stolen $50 million, right?
Right.
But that quantity of money requires serious oversight. The same thing, anything to do with the stablecoin protocol, no, you can't make weird things with the stablecoin protocol. It needs to be immutable code. At least in the places where immutable code is required, it needs to be safe. It needs to be audited. So yeah, there's going to be some upgrades there. And then I have some new things I'm working on that, again, I cannot disclose all the details, but I'm getting there, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be new, and it's not going to be boring.
But you'll tell us in the green room, and we'll get a jump on it and be able to invest in it right away.
And there's going to be no insiders that will dump on your head.
Oh, no insiders.
Of course.
Damn it.
Oh, damn.
I tell you what, it's like I've publicly said numerous times. One of the things that I'm kind of an RH maxi, but I keep my mind open to the other things that come along through the pipeline. Recently I've been consulting with Indican. I think, they're bringing some interesting stuff to Pulsechain. And the stuff Fast does. It's like, I wouldn't have advocated for him to come on the show had I thought he was of that other echelon of activity, which Richard was talking about, all the shit that ruins people. It's, anything that's like taking RH tokens off the market and encouraging people not to sell them. And, it's being carefully watched and audited. And I've participated with the TwoFax stuff to varying degrees since it's been launched. And it's like, it's worked. And it's like, and I've felt good about it. So I'm glad that Fast was able to come be on the show with us. And I'm happy that he is in the community doing what he's doing. And, he's an example of builders that are, I think, adding value. Whereas there's a lot of builders that are absolutely what Richard, I think, is warning people of. And then, but at the end of the day, if you want Hex's price to go up, buy Hex. I mean, it's like that's kind of the best way to do it, in my opinion,
And and as far as warning people about builders, look at the number of builders on Pulsechain or other places that were here, and now you don't see them anymore. You don't hear them anymore. They've disappeared. Some of them have deleted their accounts, right? Like being cautious early on.
They rode their gophers out of town.
is reasonable, right? Whereas but who's here long term? That's always what I look at when I'm like, okay, do I want to invest in this? Do I want to even use this thing that I may or may not understand the code for? But it goes beyond that. Like you look at the founder, how long have they been here? Are they still here? Right. And that makes a big difference to me. And obviously, this is an advantage for me, but like face on the screen is a significant difference. If you took all the things you could have invested in and limited to just the guys who are face on the screen, you would probably do better by about 50%. But like there'd be another, 25% of those would still be rugs or whatever, done poorly because there was a mistake or done poorly because it wasn't the right market fit. But face on the screen is a huge indicator for me.
But what keeps you engaged with the community? What do you see here? Why do you invest your time with this ecosystem? Is it the trustlessness? Is it the people here? What keeps you motivated?
Well, bag bias, obviously. I have a bag, and this is where my bag lives. So I'm pushing that forward. But personally though, because it can't just be that. Like, for me, it was like I saw a gap that needed to be filled. I stepped in to do what I could with the skill set that I have. There's I will gladly step back when you guys pull up somebody better than me.
And now I think we've arrived at the point in our show where we face the uncomfortable truth of what the charts look like.
Go for it.
Are you ready for a segment?
I thought we wanted to skip that today.
Oh, were we? I'm fine with it.
It's so depressing.
Can we?
So depressing.
Can we skip it?
Can we skip it today? Can we just go to sleep?
Richard tweeting back would give us some green candles.
He apparently he's tweeting again right now. So
yeah, maybe that's
he's been on
that's why we're not.
I gotta say,
I
gotta say this on the front end of this little segment that we.
I called it exactly to the T.
Yeah, well, sometimes, but I forgot what I was going to say now. Never mind. Can we at least all hold hands as we cry fag together over the charts? But here is we're starting off with Bitcoin, the big daddy of them all, right? The number one cryptocurrency in the world. You can see here all the way back to the 2017 top, and it goes back further than that, where the line just flattens out. But this white parallel channel has been running for years and years and years and years, nearly 10 plus. And you can see here where we've wicked above, but we've never, and this is on a 3-day, we've wicked above but never sustained above for a full 3-day candle until July of this year. Stayed up there for a little while, came back, started a little bit of a retest and crashed back through. Did what some people could call is a little bear trap right there, came back above, set a new high at around 124K, and then we dipped back down again. Looked like we were going to run up, and maybe that was going to be just a bit of a bigger, deeper bear trap, and we got rejected at the top of the line. And now we did get a pump, and then we got the Trump dump, right? So that Trump dump last week brought us down significantly. As I zoom in here, you can see on this 3-day candle, it was a big wick down, and then we came back up. We retained, like on this candle right there. Let me zoom a little tighter on this, and there you can see it better. So this third candle over, you can see like it was a big dump down all the way down to 107. And then we regained nearly half of that candle in the same 3-day period, which is very good. I don't know where all my lines went. But trust me when I say, there we go. They pop back in. So what happens typically whenever you get a big wick down or up, it's kind of testing the waters. It's like, licking your finger and which way's the wind blowing, giving an idea of like, where are we headed? So whenever you see big wicks like that, it's a pretty good indication that maybe we're going to go up and test that again. You can see it here when we tested the top of this, once we first broke out of the white channel, and then we tested the top of the yellow channel July 12th, and we wicked up to about $123,000. It fell off, but then where did we come right back up to? We retested about a month later, at $123,000, $124,000. So anytime you see wicks like that, it's a pretty good indication we're going to get back there at some point. So we did wick up to 126.3, it looks like. Is that the all-time high? 126,296 is what I'm showing. So we did wick up there, so that's promising. However, we've had a big retracement down. The good part is, even though we've broken through the 21 EMA and the 55 EMA, we are still just barely in the yellow channel that is supported way back down here in April of 25 when we had some solid bodies of 3-day candles here. So we got multiple touches at the top, multiple touches there at the bottom. And that's exactly where we are now. I would not be surprised if we wicked all the way down to 104 and bounced off the 100 EMA. A little bear trappy action there. Hopefully we can get some stability here. There's still, what, 2 days and 3 hours left on this 3-day candle. So, and there's a possibility that this gets eaten up entirely and that candle goes green.
But Somi had a tweet earlier where he said that giant whale, apparently, who caused the big liquidation cascade last Friday, has bridged in another $20 million to that exchange and is now going long. So, since crypto is a totally manipulated market, and
in
that's
for a penny and for a pound, as they say.
How we like it too is bullish in a way. So we might see a reversal over the weekend.
So so the key areas to watch are currently where we are. If we can stay on this yellow channel, I think that would be good. If we were to break down from this yellow channel, say it with me, Papa. When we break out of a channel, it moves the
girth of the shaft.
He loves the girth. He loves it. He's a size queen. So basically the girth of the shaft here, the width of that channel, if we were to break down and continue down, we'd actually come down here below even the 200 EMA, and if we did that full measured move, played out down to around 84,000, which actually there was quite a lot of price action right here. Around $78,000 to $83,000. So that would not be outside the realm of possibility. There's a lot of price action in there. That would be the bearish scenario. Bullish scenario is we hold here and we start to curl back up. In my ideal world, we eat up this green candle in the next 2.25 days, and that candle goes green. We find support on the 55 EMA and we start to curl our way back up and get back above the white channel, which now currently we'd have to be above about 119.8, about 120,000. If we can get and sustain above that, that's really ultimately what you're looking for when you break out of a pattern. You want to get out of it, you want to come back and retest it, and then you make your move. So we've bounced around it a little bit. We've been under it and over it a few times now. So ideally we swing back up, and this is the one that counts, and then it's go time. Moving on to EHEX, everybody's favorite, Richard's firstborn son.
The firstborn.
The firstborn. I mean, how can you not love your firstborn? And this is the giant white descending parallel channel that we've been in since all-time highs back in September of 2021. Had some big wicks up here back in March of 23 in anticipation probably of the launch of Pulsechain that launched in May of 23, and that was met with an unceremonious dump of EHEX as people were FOMOing into the Pulsechain assets, even though you don't really see that as much on the pulse charts. But we lost a lot of traction there. Maybe a sell the news type of situation perhaps. But we came down here and rode the bottom of that channel all through summer of 23, worked our way up to the midline, back again in spring of 24, all the way down. You can just see just boom, 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 just bouncing off that repeatedly. This is also a 3-day. Anytime you're looking at longer term time frames, I have more confidence in those. If you're trading a 15-minute chart, you're a crackhead. If you're doing weekly charts, monthly charts, get you a better macro view of kind of what's coming. So moving right along, we chopped along in the middle here. We found ourselves in this nice little yellow channel for quite a while now, since I'd say it legitimized itself back in like March of 25. Came to the top of that channel, back down to the bottom. This huge day of like wicks up and down. I can't remember exactly what that was, but I'm sure you guys remember there was some weird fuckery on EHEX at that point. Somewhere around here, the beginning of September, BankX left town, right?
Yes.
They're out. So they finally, that if nothing else, the psychological pressure of them having that bag of 800 million EHEX that was sacrificed to them for some coin. I don't think that it ever will materialize. Maybe it did, something backed with silver or some garbage. But anyhow, those fucking guys are out. And, and then the charts responded, and we were doing quite well with it. Came back, retested the middle. We were right on the 55 EMA and had a golden cross even of the 21 EMA and 55 EMA. Came back up, tested the top of the channel again. And then just within the last 2 days from Richard's tweet, we can see that there's been some movement. And it's pretty apparent when we go to the next chart. you know, a lot of people rotating over from EHEX now to PHEX. So it's like, you know, if you're just, you know, moving your coins around in your pocket, are you really making any progress? But hey, pick your horses. You know, the race is about to start. I'm happy with my bags as they are. I think EHEX still has tremendous upside. And currently, like I said before, we got 2 days and 3 hours left on this three-day candle. So we'll see where this finishes. It could continue down and maybe get some support around the 0015 level at the bottom of this yellow channel. You know, further down from that, you'd be looking at the midline of the greater white channel, which would be all the way down to where losing a 0. So we'd be at 3096. You know, ideally we can get back up to the top of this yellow channel, which is where it was trending. Breakout of that yellow channel gets us up to about 007, which was a significant number for people that have been watching the charts for a long time. And then also that would ironically be a break of the white channel at around that same period if we follow this trend. Break of the white channel, as we've been saying for a long time now, if somehow we were to be able to materialize that by the end of October, beginning of November, if we break out there, the measured move of that takes us up to around 6 cent EHEX. And then that's just the first leg up of many, in my opinion. I could totally see EHEX on its own getting back to an all-time high. So if we get here, you can see, you know, where we would have other supports and resistances along the way, where all these little peaks are, you know, so on up at around 8 cents, 13 cents, 19.5 to 20 cents, 34, 36 cents. I bought an uncomfortable amount at 34 cents on the way back down. And then obviously the all-time high that we have to beat, which is around 52 cents. So, you know, I could see this being the first leg up of that, and that could play out over the next weeks to months. Time will tell. Of course, this is all proportional to what happens with PHEX. So if we're still at around a 3-to-1 ratio, EHEX gets to 52 cents. I don't think anyone would be upset if PHEX was at $1.50. So we'll see how that looks on the next chart, which moving right along over to PHEX. So here we had a descending white channel for a while. We started to curve up and out of it. Made the full measured move. Trust me, this white line right here is about that height, pretty darn close to it. And then we started trending sideways, making kind of a weird dragon pattern. It's like it looks like a dragon head in the neck and maybe a wing back here. It's like if I was like Sami, I could draw it really nicely for you, but I'm better with straight lines. Yeah, right. So we had this potential bull flag. However, when the flag is longer than the pole, that's a pretty good indication that maybe that's not a realistic thing. So I would be looking, yeah, right. Ba-dum-bum. I would be looking more at just a measured move of this channel if we were to be able to get back to the top of it. The good news is that, you know, back on October 13th, although we wicked below it, we closed back within it, had a spinning top candle here on the October 13th. And then the new candle that we're in now is also a little spinning top, which is usually kind of an indecision candle, right? So we'll see how that plays out in the next couple hours, how that candle ends up. Looks like we've had some pretty good support along the bottom of this particular channel. I would like to see it get back up, test the 21 and 55, 100 and 200 EMA, which are all right here in the channel. So if we can get back to the top of the channel, we're looking at just shy of a penny. And then the measured move of that would get us up to about a penny and a half. This little diagonal line was the flag pole of the flag. If that is indeed a flag that plays out, that takes us up to a previous support and resistance region of around 3 cents. Again, these are just, you know, steps on the ladder as we work our way back up to a new all-time high. This is the entirety of the chart for PHEX. The all-time high was what, 4.5 cents, 4.3 cents. So, you know, it's not a big move to get a new all-time high from here. You know, I mean, from here to there is a 5x. So, you know, that's a sneeze in crypto. So I don't think anyone's going to be satisfied if we just get back to 4.5 cents for EHEX. The cool part is once we get above that, it's basically termed a blue sky breakout. So it's going to, who knows how high it could go. If we continue with the previous patterns, you know, this is showing us up around 90 cents. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and how those ratios between EHEX and PHEX play out along the way. So moving along to Pulse, kind of the least exciting coin, but it's like, you know, it's a coin that I'm digging because I got a bunch of it and I'm validating. And you got to have Pulse to play, right? So even though it's not as sexy as some of the other tokens like Hex or even Ink or PulseX, you know, this one is going to be one to watch, much like Ethereum, right? There's maybe some more sexy stuff on Ethereum, but Ethereum is the one that people pay attention to. So I think the same will hold true here. We have a giant orange descending channel that Richard pointed out to me a long time ago, and we've been playing that out quite nicely. And then we've created a really nice structure in this yellow ascending channel within the greater orange descending channel. Currently, we're right at the bottom of it. The nervy part for me is if something, if there's some black swan event or whatnot, the breakdown of this channel would take us literally exactly to the bottom of the orange channel, which that's a confluence. That's a confluence I do not like to see. But right now we're holding pretty strong. So we'll see how that plays out. My hope is that, we do indeed have an Uptober for the remainder of the month. And by Halloween, we're back at the top of this yellow channel.
Halloween.
And if you're looking at the kind of the phase of this wave, I could see us back at the top of this channel around quadruple 067, quadruple 07, around that range, sometime in late October, early November. If we break above it, then that actually, the measured move of the yellow channel does push us up to break the orange channel. The measured move of the orange channel then takes us all the way up here to about 7 times SAC. So I don't think too many people would be disappointed with that. And others would be greatly disappointed because, we want our 10,000X. So it's like, again, by the time we get above the previous all-time high, which was 2.8 times SAC, it's a blue sky. So, Katie bar the door. No one can tell you how high it's going to go. You can do some fib extensions, some other things to kind of get ideas. It's going to be fun to see the patterns emerge, but I could see us getting here quicker than some may expect.
It's funny when you zoom out like that, like we really haven't done anything yet. It's just one big sideways at the lows. So, it's still time to get, as Temtem always says, DCA, get into your position now. Because once it goes, it goes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you got to realize that. I mean, this is a really good entry. It's like, I mean, I'm irresponsibly long. This is absolutely not financial advice. I remortgaged my house. I've taken out loans. It's like I am irresponsibly long, but I really have that much conviction that this is going to be generational wealth.
Also, Richard tweeting, forget about alt season. I'm more interested in our season. Super bullish statement.
Absolutely. And I mean, and the thing is Richard was, where did we first hear the floor is lava? Right?
Yes.
It's like he loves that shit. And it's that gets attention. So when everything else is rounding over, it's like, to me, that's the ideal timing for things to go ape shit. So, there's people that have been, kind of bearish on, the marketing happened too late. It's whatever. It's like, no, I think everything's syncing up. I think a lot of things in this ecosystem since it's the beginning have just come together. Like, the synchronicities have been remarkable. So I think everything's happening just in the right kind of time. Everybody that's getting freaked out, it's not different this time. There might be a little bit of an extension of the 4-year cycle, but effectively Bitcoin tops, Ethereum tops, then alts run. And we're somewhere in that ETH alt run time frame historically. So we'll see how it plays out. But, people freaking out now, it's unnecessary because we're not there yet. If we were in February and it still is here, then it would be a little more understandable to me. But I don't think now is the time. It's a little telling about your emotional stability. So fucking chill out, cry fags. All right, Pulsex. Moving over to Pulsex. Okay, this one had been actually one of the stronger charts.
Very, very true.
This has been one of the stronger charts that we'd had in all of the RH ecosystem. As you remember on the Pulse chart we just looked at, we made our way all the way to the bottom of the orange channel multiple times. This one we played around with the midline and worked our way, and we're really hammering the top. And then we came down here, wicked off the midline again back in March of 25. And then we've got a nice kind of rhythmic cycle, very similar to what's going on with Pulsechain, top, bottom, and we're right there. So, the measured move on that takes us down actually below the midline and down around previous not all-time low, but the previous dip after the launch, which was in September of 23, which is down around 508, which I don't think any of us want to see. I don't anticipate that. I think this has been such a solid structure, and the trend is your friend. Not financial advice, but I mean, this to me would be an accumulation zone because think about it. If you bought there, wham. If you bought there, wham. Would you buy here? I don't know. Your decision. But if that cycle plays out and we can start curling our way up end of October, maybe into mid-November, we can get not only to the top of this yellow channel, but break the giant orange channel. If we break the giant orange channel, obviously, you know, I mean, it's not going to hockey stick up in a day, but this is a target, right? It's going to give you an idea of where it could go as it breaks out of that orange channel. There's going to be chop, just like on the first chart we looked at with Bitcoin. Goes above the line, below the line, above the line, holds the line, goes. I would expect similar things here. So it's going to probably take weeks or months for that to play out. And this takes us up to about 5.5 to 6 times SAC for PulseX. Again, blue sky breakout. Who knows how high it could go from there. And the previous all-time high was only, around 1.2 of 1.3 of SAC. So we'd be considerably higher than SAC rate if we make this measured move. Tops, ultimately, before the cycle's out, you tell me, right? Last but not least, Ink, the baby boy of the family, the incentive token. I hear apparently you can print it somewhere. Ink printer or something was talked about earlier. So, yeah, what? So a little, I don't know. So anyhow, giant choppy chart, wild shit has gone on with this thing. I mean, like, what was it, $80 or something was the all-time high? Yeah, $80 was the all-time high right after launch. It just was a frickin' rocket, you know. And then obviously we had some major pullbacks on that, and then I was just trying to find some structure here, and we chopped along in this little mid-range here for a long time. Right here, I like to brag about this little part right here, but this little thing was just a trader's wet dream because it was just pinging off of like $1.50 to $1.30 to $1.50 to $1.30 just for weeks and weeks. So I mean, you could have churned that and really done well for yourself if you had good risk management. But I'm not advocating trading because most of the time people fuck that up and they're wrecked. So anyhow, I'm looking for a pattern, something to make sense of. If you go all the way back here to the all-time lows, which is around 40 cents, we got another touch here of this yellow channel that I located, at around 43, 44 cents. I was lucky enough to snag some at 43 cents, and I was farming at the time too. So, that was great. Still holding. Thank you. Found some support here in April, came to the top of this newly formed channel that I identified in May. Chopped around in this little trader zone that I called it, wicked up hard, actually closed above it a little bit of a bull trap here, worked our way back down, and now we're back at the bottom, and we're actually below the bottom of that line. So right now, the bearish scenario on that, if we move down, continue to move down, the full measured move of that actually would take us to a new all-time low.
That's way down yonder.
Way down yonder in the Chattahoochee, as I like to say. However,
on the Chattahoochee, it
gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. That's it. That's the one. Now, I'm always looking for confluence with things. I like confluence. So for me, if everything else is trending up and Ink is kind of a function of all those other things with its liquidity bonding with PulseX in particular, I would assume, although we don't have the nice rhythmic sine wave, here, sinuses, sine wave, it's still kind of trending up unless we break the pattern here and work down, and then we're going to have to look for some other structures to make sense of this thing. I'm hoping that we start to curl back up. If, mid-November, we can get back to the top of this channel and actually have a definitive breakout, that would take us up to $3.15, which was a significant area of support and resistance over the life of the token. Of course, from there, you're going to have other stops along the way, 375, 430, 523, and up we go. So it's going to be interesting to play out. The TA stuff is a lot for fun and trying to make sense of what's happening. This is not encouraging anybody to buy or sell by any means or to trade. It's just to maybe give a little bit of calm in the storm as far as what's
cover
happening.
ETH, please?
Yep.
Because we got the sack bag to consider.
Chart just pulled up and is blank. So let me refresh it and see if it'll actually show it. ETH got rugged. Thanks, Vitalik.
Nice.
So see if it comes back up for him. Hey, there we go. So, but basically, it's like I'm just trying to make people understand and make sense of it. So it's like, because sometimes when a coin that you're in is falling, you're like, oh my God, it's going to zero, and you freak out and you push the red button. If you see where there's going to be supports and then you see that it actually holds those supports and starts working its way back up, then it calms you, right? And you're maybe a little less likely to slam the sell button. And, the same on the upside, if it's, it's going to the moon, I'm never going to sell. And then you see it hit support or resistance and curve around, then maybe that's time to take a little money off the table, if you're at whatever X's that you're looking for. So it's Johnny Chaos used to get on me a lot. You're encouraging trading. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm trying to make sense of it for people. I'm using TA as a tool to fucking calm everybody the fuck down.
The Phillips
that was a good Johnny
screwdriver.
Chaos impression, by the way.
Did you like that? I'm terrible at impressions. Okay, so here's Ethereum. It's been in its own orange descending parallel channel for quite a long time now. It peaked over here in November of 21. That was, if you recall, that was the double top situation for Bitcoin in that cycle as well in 21. It was in April of 21 and again in November. This was in May of 21 and again in November with a higher high, slightly higher high, Judas candles, whatever. So that happened, rolled over, found a low again below $1,000 in June of 22, started to chop its way up, found some support and resistance along the midline as it went. Got up here, found a nice little top in March of 24, failed, didn't quite make it up here again in May of 24, failed. Again, a push in December of 24, failed hard, and we had a big pullback down to around $1,400, which I was lucky to pick some up in that dip. And then, we started working our way back up. Really nice hockey stick. We had a couple bull flags in there that played out. If you guys can see that at home, you see the flag pole is this vertical area. This horizontal area was the flag, and it moved perfectly.
Shout out to Johnny
right
Chaos. He's in the chat.
Hey, what's up, Johnny? Love you, bro.
You're also in the intro, Johnny. To hit the replay.
Johnny's a jam. Johnny's my favorite part of the Hex music video. Like that
yes.
thing where he's flipping his hair. And, dude,
With the
it's
super long
that was
hair.
Super fun. Super fun.
Those
super
were
fun.
the days.
The good old days, man. It feels like a lifetime ago. So anyhow, back to Papa's request for Ethereum. We got above it, had a nice breakout, a big sustainable breakout, and came back down. And like normally, it's like you get that and you come right back down below. This is on a 3-day. And we sustained it, which has been really, really nice. And then we started to form a new channel because it's like, me and my parallel channels, I dream about parallel channels. So, I'm trying to make sense of like the progress of this, right? Because we broke it. The measured move of it takes us up to around 14K. And as I was saying before, it's not hockey stick. It's just a target, right? So it's going to chop. It's going to find support on the top of the previous channel and then go. So what's happened is we wicked down just a hair below it here, September 25th. Nice little tweezer bottom, if you will, here. Came back up to the midline, tweezer top, rolled over, big wick down on the Trump stuff. And then we're starting to march our way down, much like we saw on the very first chart an hour and a half ago on Bitcoin. And hopefully we don't continue. If we do, I wouldn't be too terribly shocked by it. With Bitcoin being as soft as it is right now, Ethereum's going to follow that. So, if we did have the measured move down from here, then you're looking like a measured move completely down to the 200 EMA, which is $3,000 Ethereum. That would, in my opinion, if that does happen, just like this little wick showed us, I think it would be a giant bear trap and that we'd move back above it relatively quickly and people would get liquidated. So, be careful out there. Right now we are breaking down of the white channel. So, that would indicate that we do have lower to go. But the thing that makes me feel a little more bullish about this is we are not back into the orange channel. We're right at it. So if we close even where we are right now on the 3-day, which has, as I said before, 2 days and 3 hours to go, if we close above the level we're at right now, which is $3,873, I think that we're going to have another push north. If we close below, look for some of those areas of support below it, the 21 EMA at 3,600. The 100 EMA at 3,300, and then the 200 EMA at 3,000. But yeah, overall I'm bullish. We just gotta wait. We got time.
This liquidation event though last Friday, also Richard was taking victory laps and tweeting about, Crypto, who we spoke about last week on the show, he got liquidated by $11 million on his high leverage plays on Bybit and all that. So in a way, it's kind of shaking out the leverage traders too. So a bunch of people got lost everything, and of course we're not celebrating that, but it may also be going forward a bullish thing that a bunch of these traders are out of the game. So that's another perspective. Also, let's check in before we go with Gabriel Haynes, who made remember he made his postal address public, and
Just
people,
end this shit. Jesus
and
Christ.
people still keep him sending shit.
3 more packages from Crypto Twitter. We'll start with the worst by far from the Hex family. It's a scam. What garbage did you send me now?
Is he trying to sound like Trump?
Stickers. DeFi Ponzi. Yes. puzzle. No. You guys suck. Hex is going to 0. Next! Let's see what this one is. Mr. Schwabo from Croatia has sent me a letter.
Woo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schwabo. May you and your family be blessed on this day. It is a beautiful letter. We're going to open it up, and it's a more Hex fucking garbage. No! Last but not least, a lovely package from the general store. I have high hopes. I hope it's a very, very lovely watch. What's inside? A package in a package. Okay.
Manure.
And what's in the fucking package? Looks like beef jerky to me.
Well, that's pretty funny.
Keep sending him stuff. Don't stop. It's there's advertising value in this. I know he keeps saying Hex is a scam, but like, he's
good.
funny. He's a good actor, and he's bringing attention, and he's engaging. So I actually had a short conversation with him, and like, he's not up to no good.
No. He's very entertaining. So Fast Abdoul, thank you for coming on the show, and thank you again for everything that you're doing for the community. Lots of hours and time you're investing. Where can people get in touch? What is the best way to find you? Can you share your socials?
You bet. You can find me at Fast Abdoul on Twitter. I will make my screen name reflect that. Also via my various protocols. So we have 2phux.io as well as inkprinter.com. So that's incprinter.com. Links to Telegram, etc. there. And as of now, you can find me on the What the Hex show with my great co-host here. Thanks for coming on, guys.
And you're Canadian, right? You see, I got my Canadian Hex shirt on today.
Oh, I didn't notice that earlier. Oh, fantastic. Yes.
Oh, you didn't know.
I am indeed Canadian. Je parle français,
I'm sorry.
Un petit peu, oui, monsieur. Voilà.
Parlez-vous français?
All right, you guys, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much. We got 900 people watching live because 500 are watching alone on Fast Abdoul's Twitter. So that's pretty badass, I would say. And we thank you guys so much. Hit the replay, retweet, like the bell, all that good stuff.
Like the bell? What?
Like Papa B, any last words?
Rub the bell.
Humbug.
But humbug, I say.
Hey, DJ, are you going to close it out?
Yes.
RICHARD HE